Hi everyone, I'm Juane, also known as Jo,
And I'm an architect and photographer.
that is currently building the Earth House in the northwest of South Africa. And today I'm here to talk about my experience building with Rammed Earth for the past 2 years. But let's go back in time to where it all started. So in June 2022, Airbnb announced their OMG Fund competition where they gave 100 people $100,000 to build something crazy. And I was one of the winners. So I won about 1.8 million Rand to start building my crazy idea. Competition was announced. I was very inspired by the location of our farm, which is located close to the Frederick Dome crater, which is the biggest crater impact site in the world. It's also UNESCO World Heritage Site. But let's go back even further. In my third year, I designed a writer's retreat that was based on the concept of a burrow, where you are living inside of the earth. And so I went back to this concept and I used it as a starting point for the Earth House. And here's a drawing I did. Never underestimate the work that you're doing as a student because you might be using it for future projects. Here is a video of me just sketching initially, just starting with like an organic shape. And also I wanted to build a small cabin, just enough for 2 people, and also build it into the earth. And my journey started. Here is some photos of the building site, the sites of the farm, how it looks on the northwest landscape. So choosing the site was quite a process. I spent 3 weeks scouting, walking around the whole farm, like deciding where am I going to place this house. And I did about 20 trips to the farm. I spent 2 nights there because I needed to decide like where to exactly place this building. And in the end, I decided to place it next to this beautiful, I would say 100-year-old stinko tree. And you can't see any of the light pollution or any of the farm lights of the surrounding area. So it was quite a perfect site. Here is a plan of the building. To the right is the bedroom, and to the left is the kitchen and the living area, the bathroom at the back, and towards the front is the terrace with a hot tub. The tree is on the left, the stinko tree, and then the entrance is to the back, to the south, with views to the north. When I started with this project, I always knew about Rammed Earth, but I've never done it. So it was my first time like experimenting with this material. And so I was very inspired by the local vernacular and how people built hundreds of years ago. These are the renders that I sent out to Airbnb to enter the competition. This is the entrance perspective and a view from the north, and you'll see here the organic curved shape. This was another render I sent. Some of the design elements have changed as we went on during construction because of costs, because of skills, so on. Another render. So my goal was to build a cabin out of earth and use natural building materials and techniques. When I saw this red heap of swale on our farm, I was like, I need to take this and I need to turn this into walls because the color, the texture, like there's nothing like it. We started out with the foundations and we built natural stone foundations from the ground up. Each stone was bought from the mountain with a tracker and a wagon, and each stone was made by hand with an earth mortar mix of earth, a little bit of cement, sand. And there are the stone foundations, almost complete. The stone foundations were completed in February 2023. Very happy team there. We built our first sample wall about 3 months after I won the competition, just for me to get my hands dirty and to see, what this process is about. So I got the formwork, I got the soil, and we just went out and we built this wall. This was a bench we built, nice thick. It was about 400 millimeters thick. I just loved how it looked. I was like, wow, we've got it. The soil works, and I'm ready for this. So let's get to our Rammed Earth process. The first step is to do soil tests. I did multiple field tests. This is called the sausage test to see if your soil is strong enough and if you like the color and if there's enough clay in, if there's enough sand in. Then you need to get your formwork. Like formwork is the most important element when you're building rammed earth because it determines how straight the walls are. It determines where the people that are ramming, what they'll stand on. Very heavy pieces of steel. You'll see here in the video that about 4 people are carrying a piece of steel, and this needs to be moved from one level to another. Here is a video of the process. Have a look. Today we're starting with a rammed earth wall, and behind me we have the steel formwork, and inside
We have 2 layers of rocks. We are using steel reinforcing, which is tied on both sides.
then we also have corner fillets. These are wooden corner fillets so that the rammed earth walls are not sharp corners, so when you hit them they don't break easily, so it's nice and flat. And then behind you we have 4% hydrated building lime, and we have 11 wheelbarrows of clay, soil, and one wheelbarrow of river sand, ready to go. Wet the soil a little bit, it mustn't be too wet. And then we also used linseed oil for the inside of the formwork so that the soil doesn't stick to the steel. Always make sure that the formwork is straight, and then you start filling up the formwork with earth.
We use a brick as an indicator for the depth of the soil we should pour into the formwork.
And then we start ramming. And this is where the long process begins. The end of layering each soil layer and compacting, layering and compacting. So in short, the process is build a wall footing. The rammed earth always needs a small footing, about 200 millimeters high, so that the water that comes down, the rainwater, doesn't touch the rammed earth, so it can be preserved for a longer time. Mix the soil, pour the soil into the formwork in layers. Layers can't be too thick, otherwise you can't compact it enough. Start stamping and then check your formwork continuously. This was our first wall. We were so happy about this wall. It just looked amazing. The team did very well. The layers are, you can see the layers, you can see the small stones that were kept in the wall. I like this texture. I chose to have a one layer or one color consistency look. I didn't want to have like different patterns. So I chose to keep the stones in the walls for a nice texture. The biggest challenge was building this curve. I only learned when I started doing it that it's quite a challenge because of the formwork. We had to build custom formwork on site. So the steel pieces were nice because you just put them in and put them together. But in the end, we went for a steel inside with wooden struts on the outside to make it stronger. In March 2023, we completed with the trenches, and then the stone foundations were done in April 2023. In May, our first walls were going up. 2/3 of our rammed earth walls were done by June 2023. And in July, our walls were done. This is a photo in August, middle of winter, so it looks quite dull in the surrounding area. And this is a video of the walls completed. I had a mini setback, injured my back, so I had to take about an 8-month break. So I stopped the project completely. And in February of this year, we started continuing with the project again. We started putting up the roof. This was in February as well. And this is a photo of the project currently. So some of the design changes I made was I removed the green roof. It was just too expensive, and just replaced it with a lightweight steel roof on timber and framework. This is the wall texture to the right, and us putting up the spout to the left. We started putting in the ceilings, and another design change I made was to the north. I extended the roof a little bit so that I can have more shade in the house. This is a view from the entrance way. We are currently busy with the floor. So I'm busy with experimenting with different earth soils, earth screeds to lay on the floor. And if you want to follow and see what I'm up to and how the process is, follow my Instagram. They are my 2 handles.